From blending the rich traditions of Indian music with modern sounds to earning a Grammy nomination with Berklee Indian Ensemble, Sashank Navaladi is a composer, producer, and a sound designer pushing musical boundaries. Welcome to the podcast, Sashank.
Thanks, Aakriti. Happy to be here.
Yes. And I think ever since I've known you, you've always been a part of the limelight. Yeah. And so what has that been like?
Before we start, just want to say, since we are childhood friends, this is going to be a very hard podcast to do with a straight face. So please bear with us while we laugh through all the question and answers.
I mean, what has it been like to been in the limelight all your life? Because you started playing sarod at the age of 5, I think.
Yeah. I started when I was 6. Well, I haven't. Limelight would be a sort of a relative term, I think. But yeah, I was pushed into music at a very early age because both my parents love music. And then when my brother was playing the tabla, they decided that, okay, we can't have two drummers in the house. So one had to be like a melodic instrumentalist. So so I've been playing since then. But honestly, I've enjoyed every part of it. So since childhood, I've been learning sarod, tabla. I used to go for 2 vocal classes, one of which that we used to go
we
to
went
as
together.
well. 2 vocal classes, and at one point it was also drums and keys.
That's a lot of instruments.
That is, so all of my sort of childhood was just spent going for music classes. But
doesn't that take a bit of your childhood away?
I mean, so I did. I mean, it was a bit of pressure, maybe in like 11th grade and 12th grade when I took science and stuff. But honestly, I think music is the best thing to have happened. I think I was able to find a good balance between music and studies and playing cricket after coming back from school.
Absolutely.
So
And attending all our birthday parties.
and yeah, exactly. I think I found that sort of sweet spot.
Yeah.
It was a very busy childhood. I think I would say that, like compared to.
Yeah, I know, because I think I've
normal
been a
thing.
part of it as well, especially
Yeah.
when we had the Pogo segment. Pogo
Correct.
was so popular, and then they came to do a story on you. And I think that's the
Right.
first recollection that I have of
Yes.
you being in the limelight, which was, I don't know, 20 years ago, I guess. Almost.
Correct. I know. Yeah, those were, I mean, that's, almost 20 years back. Yeah, but it was a very fulfilling, I think. I think music is, it's such a good, it's such an important aspect, of an individual's life. And I think I'm very happy that my parents put me in like formal music lessons. Um and that sort of shaped, my early childhood and my career as well. So yeah.
So when it comes to like going beyond the border, I think you fit all categories that I have, which is like geographically and socio-economically as well. I mean, what has that been like? Like, when did you think that you want to do that? Because I mean, even if you were here in India, you would have made a difference because you're talented. But you have actually worked in both the industries,
Right.
and like the pros and cons. You've kind of got a glimpse of all of that. So when was the first time that you felt like you want to go beyond the border? And also, when is the first time that you felt like you finally have made it beyond the border?
Like I want to go beyond the border, geographically speaking, is after I finished college. Because after finishing college, I had the option to either stay back for a bit or come back. And of course, if you come back, it's Bombay. You have to go to Bombay and hustle over there. But I had a really good time in college. I think Berklee was is a melting pot of different cultures and class musicians from every country on this planet. So I think I had a really good all my fellow like classmates and collaborators were like really good people, and I felt very welcomed over there. Also thanks to the Berklee Indian Ensemble, so that was a huge part of my college days. So after
That's what got you
that
a
was
step closer to the Grammy.
correct. That's right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, and actually that didn't happen during college, but we put out an album after like most of the bandmates had graduated, and that somehow we got nominated. Yeah, like it was a pretty big surprise for all of us that day. But yeah, I mean, coming back to your question, yeah, Berkeley felt like, man, I just felt like those were my people, because before that you're doing science, you're going for IT tuition and math and engineering, like science classes over here. But when I was, with those folks over there, I knew that, okay, I should probably just stay back here for a bit. And then, baad mein we'll see, if you want to go back. Uh, but I've loved collaborating over there. I think that's one of the perks of, like, one of the perks of being in the US is that it's a nation of immigrants. There are people from so many various cultures, diverse backgrounds. So you never feel like, that you're out of home, because everyone's going through that. Um, yeah, so I think I had a great time in Boston and LA.
Tell me a
Um,
little bit about the
yeah.
Grammy like story. How was it like to go there?
Dude, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. I mean, honestly, so from the time we put out the album, we just wanted to write some good music and we wanted to share original songs. So, and I should definitely mention the band's director, Annette Phillip. She's a great, she's a maverick, she's a pioneer in the field of, music. She's a great singer, great pianist, trailblazer in every sense of the word. Um, and she really encouraged us to, write original songs, and also, do different interesting versions of covers like Jia Jale, cover, and Ye Jo Des, that cover. Although these two weren't there on the album, but we have, some other covers. Yeah, it was John Legend who was doing the announcement for our category, which is best global music album. Yeah, best global music album. So yeah, and then the show itself was, I think, cherry on the cake. The show is divided into two parts. So so first you have the top. I mean so you've got the first 20 categories in one show, and then you go to a different auditorium, which is for the top 10 categories. So ours was in the first show because we best global music album. Uh, and then it was a great experience just seeing Anushka Shankar, perform live. We had a lot of other collaborators who were also nominated. So just being in the midst of artistic royalty, was very humbling that way. Um, and then the main show is, of course, that's where the song and dance happens. And I think Harry Styles won like album
Best
of the
of
year. Yeah, album of the year.
that.
But very humbling experience, and just I'm touched with, very lucky to be
Yeah.
part of that
Yeah.
troupe.
Like I mentioned in your intro also, like
Yeah.
you have to talk about music as a universal language, and we always say that as well. I remember that you were working with Facebook, I think back in 2018, as a
Yes.
music composer, and
Yeah.
I mean a lot of your music has been like somewhat Indo-Western, if that's the
That's
correct
right.
word of
Absolutely.
saying
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
right?
you're absolutely
So
right. Yeah.
I mean you got the opportunity to do that, and I think you were one of the first few Indians.
Correct.
So
Correct. Correct.
clappings for you there,
Yeah.
virtual clappings. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, what was that like? I mean, you getting an opportunity, or did you create that opportunity? Were they asking you just to make like Western or Indian music, and you did like the amalgamation? How did it work?
so Facebook gig was really good. The team, like my supervisor over there, he was very appreciative of all the work that I did. I used to send in, I think, 2 songs a month, and they gave us complete freedom to make whatever we wish. Be it Hindi, Punjabi, Telugu, Tamil,
Yeah.
whatever you want to create.
I'm
We
gonna
could do
link that below.
Yeah, for sure,
all
for
your
sure.
music that we
And
can hear.
at
Yeah.
that time, I didn't, I this is a conversation we can have, and that we probably will. This
Yeah.
being a podcast, but so I before the Facebook gig, I didn't know how powerful social media was, because before then I was using Facebook, just as like a, I mean, just to
Connection.
just to
basically
stay in touch with friends and everything. But now that, so the gig that I had was that Facebook has a library of songs that anyone can use on Facebook on Instagram Reels, for example, and WhatsApp and stuff like that. So yeah, once I started sending them music, people would use it in their reels and stuff. And then people would comment on the reel, like, who made this song? Where can I download that song? And so some of these reels have like millions of views. So social media, Instagram's reach is like tremendous. Yeah. So I was like, even if you're not composing for Facebook, the company, even if you just learn to promote your art, be it, even if you're a musician or like a painter or anyone, if you know how to promote your work on Instagram, dude, that shit can really become popular. Like, yeah, like social media has a really big reach. Yeah.
But then you had your big break, I think, in 2022, where you ended up performing in States for Beck and Chris Martin.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us more about that. What was it like? I mean, was there any border problem there? Did you feel like you achieved something, or was it like, I'm just good at my job, so I will be where I need to be, and that has nothing to do with like these, I don't know, passport borders or whatever?
No, actually, that's a great point that you raised. I think, honestly, that's the first time I felt like I've done something truly cross-cultural. So with the Beck concert, like we had to rearrange. So he was slotted to perform at a gala at a museum in LA, but Beck's request was that his songs be done with him, but with Indian musicians. He wanted like Indian rearrangements of his songs. So that was very interesting because I've never done that. So I've done like Indian songs with Hindi lyrics, Punjabi lyrics, stuff like that. But I haven't put English, like popular English songs in an Indian context, in an Indian arrangement sort of way. So that was very interesting. Very exciting. And he was also very receptive to our ideas. So it was me, my friend Raginder on the violin, Jawad and Nilan on tabla, and Rajiv on sitar. So us 5 Indian classical guys just sitting behind Beck. But we did rehearse, for 2 days before the concert, and we thought of ways to because so Indian music is not chordal, right? Like it's very it's not polyphonic. Sorry, it's not polyphonic in the sense that there are no chords.
Yes.
Yeah, we play lines, right? Like melodic lines. So we had to somehow find ways to creatively complement Beck's music. So it was a good gig, and then Chris joined us for one song because he's good friends with Beck and he was visiting LA. And so Beck was like, yeah, dude, I'm performing today. Why don't you come join us for a song? And so he joins us. And then we got to know that he was going to join us like 10 minutes before we got on stage. So we were also freaking out.
Exciting, like so much adrenaline rush.
I know.
There.
Like we are already nervous, performing for Beck. And then he's like, yeah, Chris is also going to like... What is happening?
I think everything you've done or everything we've spoken about is beyond borders, like in all contexts. Like as an Indian outside, like sharing the music, making that amalgamation of Western, Indo.
Correct. Yeah.
And but like what's it been like for you and the entire South Asian community, rather, I would say, in LA? Like what has that, like how has that played out for you?
Correct. So I think this is the best time to, I think, be a South Asian in the music industry. Personally speaking, that's what I think, because the diaspora community is doing really well. It's on the rise. Of course, we haven't broken the glass ceiling, so as to say. There's still a long way to go before we see it like a global South Asian artist who is as big as Coldplay or like Taylor Swift or something like that. Yeah, so that's still it's a long way, but recently, like, there are so many brown people who have made a mark in the American music scene. But brown power is on the rise, I think. We've got so many good artists and producers now based in LA who are producing for like big A-list artists, And also, like, people like Raja Kumari, I think she's from Cali. I mean, she's Indian, but I think born and raised there. A lot of my other friends, Zoya Mohan and so many people, who of Indian origin, uh, are are making a mark, and so many, and touring and finding ways to spread their music. So I think it's truly the best time to be in the music industry right now. And even the indie music scene in India is blowing up.
So now tell me, what is the new music that you are planning to launch this year?
Oh, okay. So a recent collaboration of mine was with a singer from across the border.
Yeah.
Uh, his name is Ali Sethi. He's a great singer. He learned,
We know that.
yeah, yeah, great person, great singer, very knowledgeable in Hindustani, music. Yeah, so we collaborated last year when we met in LA, and we were just jamming. I was called in for a session as a sarod player actually, and then I was on the sarod, and we started jamming, just playing some ideas, and then I slowly just moved to the piano because there was a beautiful vintage upright in the studio. So, and then Ali heard that, and then we just started playing around with some ideas. So three of those ideas, we worked on a bunch of ideas, like around 5, 6, I think, songs, but three of those are going to be out this year.
One is already out.
Yeah, so one is already out. It's called Tera Sitam. It just came out. It's on all streaming platforms. So guys, please go and check it out.
Listen, yeah.
And then two other songs are going to be out.
So which
I don't
are-
know if I can reveal the names, but
Yeah, okay.
but
We'll get there.
yeah, I'll be
So-
mysterious about that.
You've seen that there are a lot of pros and cons in both the industries, of course, and we have like this general notion that we all want to run out of India. Of course, me living abroad for almost 8 years, you for over a decade, we know that that's not true. Like there's nothing great that they have to offer that we cannot do here.
Correct.
But still, I feel like there are these changes that have come up over these years, which is why we come back like 4 times a year and like enjoy all our privileges and everything. Yeah.
Blink it.
Please, let's not talk about how obsessed I am.
Yeah,
with it.
exactly.
Like
5-minute delivery, guys. Like that.
the
like,
first thing I
where
message
does
my
that
brother
happen?
in the
Yeah.
morning, I'm like, Blinkit is 24/7, and he's
Yeah.
like, I just Zomatoed in UK, and that's the conversation that goes on in our family
Exactly.
group. Okay,
Like,
so yeah. But I mean, like we see that you, as someone who's experienced both and now are very well known globally, would you? I mean, the first question is, would you like to make any changes that in the Indian music industry, because you're already now working as a teacher for a 3-month diploma program at AFT, and is that like what is the change that you would like to see or are aiming towards for the Indian film industry?
I would love to see a bunch of changes, honestly. So I think India is on the right track. See, with the teaching experience, the teaching experience has given me something very invaluable, which is I've been talking to so many youngsters from across the country, people from small towns that I had no idea that people even know about music production and the different software that So I had one student. He was from Dhanbad. Dhanbad is known for, like, I think it's a milling, like there are a lot of mills and stuff, and lot of factories and stuff like that. So, but this guy was crazy about production. He knew everything about Cubase and recording and this and that. So, and I've had so many students from across the country. So music production has definitely is something that's known and something that people are interested in. High schoolers are taking a 3-month diploma course in music production in spite of taking science as their, like this thing wasn't happening during our time, I think, so that is great. I'm so happy that people know about this. It's become very democratized. But the change I think that I would want to see is decentralization of the music industry. So right now the music industry is very much tied to Bollywood, and which is, and I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's always been tied to Bollywood, which is fine because that's how we write our films. The lead character, the lead actor is singing a song. So, यहाँ पे people identify songs by the actor's name, like Shah Rukh Khan ka gana or Dev Anand ka gana, even though they haven't sung the song. But that's how that's how the culture has evolved. But I would like to see a more robust, indie music scene.
Yeah.
So that needs a lot of support. And that means uh, more venues for indie music artists to perform, and more touring opportunities, more festivals.
Yeah, the infrastructure, like
The
Diljit said
infrastructure does
also.
not exist, like for the indie music. Although I wouldn't say it doesn't exist, but it's changing. But a lot needs to be done, and serious thought needs to be put into that. Right now, as I said, it's very centralized. It's like a movie happens, movie is attached to label will ask ask for producers, and you can do that, which is fine. That's great. If you want to do Bollywood music, definitely go for it. Go to Bombay, do that thing.
Some of the finest in the industry that you worked with. Tell me quickly. Top five.
Okay, yeah. So I've been very fortunate to work with some really good people. I think AR would definitely be on the top of the list. AR is a great composer, great person. Just to be in a room with him and observe him. So I did like a 1 month internship sort of thing when he was in Boston, and they were looking for an extra sort of assistant, just to assist him on a few projects. So there was a Tamil movie that I assisted on, and a series on Amazon Prime called Harmony. So we worked on that. And of course, Rahman sir is a genius. He comes into the room, everyone goes silent. And honestly, he's very, he knows what he wants to do. He's like very, on top of the game. And he's very fast with music software. So he'll sit on the computer like for hours and hours and just do his thing. And all of his assistants are just, looking at him. So I mean, that 1 month was a great learning experience. But yeah, I got to play 2 shows with him also after that. One was in Vegas, one in New York at the UN. Rahman Saab would be number one. I think the Beck concert was another great collaboration. Then through the AR concert, I also got to play with Shivamani, who's a great Indian drummer, Ranjit Barot, Prasanna. Coming back to our conversation on the diaspora, Prasanna is a guitarist from Chennai, but now lives in New York. But he plays Carnatic music on the guitar, and he's a phenomenal guitarist. Like, yeah, you should, check him out. And yeah, So talking about Prasanna Vijay Iyer, he's another pianist. Vijay Iyer also teaches at Harvard. These people are from India, and these guys are the best in their industries. I mean, in their industries and in their genres.
Yeah.
Like Vijay Iyer is a cat. Like he's a jazz cat. Like he's one of the best jazz, jazz performers out there.
You have done so much work that our podcast does not have enough time, so we will have a part 2 for you. But now there's a last segment.
Yeah.
Which is, how do you wish to inspire those trying to step out of their comfort zone and go beyond the border?
I think advice I would give is, it's so through YouTube, it's become very easy to learn any skill or craft. But a lot of people always ask, like, should I go to music college or should I do that? I think if you can, even if you don't go to music college, find your community, like in whatever city you are, wherever you are. People, at least in my experience, people are the most important asset that you can have. So find like-minded people that you can network with, connect with with other artists, other musicians, jam out, collaborate, write emails, like pester people with emails and messages saying that you want to make a song with them, you want to collaborate with them. That's how this works. You may be, I'm going to sound like a 90-year-old man saying this,
Aren't you?
getting there. I'm gonna sound old saying this, but it's one thing to be very talented in your field, but it's another thing to be successful in that field. You can be talented and nobody knows about you because you've just been cooped up in your room and making beats. But it's another thing to be successful, uh, uh, and that success only I think comes with networking.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. Finally, being your chuddy buddy help. And we're very grateful that you've achieved so much. And you've been beyond the border. And I hope someone's inspired by you and they go beyond the border.
100%. Thanks. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here, and I hope you call more and more guests, and I think you have a lot of success doing this. Yeah, guys, please watch her podcast. Watch all the guests. She has some very interesting people coming
Thank you.
in. Yeah.
Thank you so much for staying until the end. To help us continue these conversations, please subscribe on YouTube and like and follow on Instagram and Spotify.